Go. Hello, hello.
Hey.
Hey,
Hey, Nona
Lisa.
Grace. Hey, Bro Cowgirl.
Nana, Grace, and Gwen, Broke Cowgirl. Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, it just went out. How about that?
Awesome.
That's quick.
That is quick. How have you been doing, Lisa?
Doing good. Doing good. Busy with piglets and
Yeah.
we had the people who bought 3 last year came back and bought 6.
Oh my gosh.
So
How
we have
awesome.
8 left, and I have
Uh-huh.
significantly reduced the price.
Awesome.
Way down.
Did you?
Yeah.
Do you want to share what you're asking for them?
No.
Okay. You can
It's a
text it.
bargain, let me just tell you, for a purebred.
Wow.
It's
With
a
papers,
bit much.
Oh, we were already talking, Gwen?
Yeah. But yeah, I've lowered the price, and then you get the usual. I get a lot of people who come and I think they just want to see cute piglets, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, Suburban Hillbilly.
And they really don't want to buy them. We call them
Mm-hmm.
tire kickers.
Mm-hmm.
They really don't want
I
to
was
buy
gonna
anything.
say looky loos.
Looky loos, yes, looky loos. That's a much nicer way of saying it. I'm posting links as I'm talking to you.
Thank you.
But yeah, it's just been doing that, and it's been really, really cool here. We had 2 weeks of hot weather, and it's really cool. And now I'm getting worried because we only have a little bit left of the growing season. How are things going by you?
So it's a cooler day today. We're so happy to be in the 80s and not the 90s. Hey, Life in the Piedmont.
Hey, Tina.
And so, I mean, that's what we're calling cool these days. It's not like Williams cool. It's 67 this morning when we got up. So we're like, yay. This is
nice.
This is our speed right here.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I have this really nervous kind of thing about with the garden because I'm not completely acclimated to what my growing season is here. So I'm feeling like I have, hey, one day at a time farmstead. I'm feeling like I know I'm supposed to have more time, but it feels like I don't have more time. So it's kind of put me in this place of, I have some tomato plants that got greens on them, but I never harvested any tomatoes on them. Or maybe I only harvested a couple of tomatoes. Hey, Corner Clubhouse Cobalt. But I'm wondering, if I was in Arizona, I'd be like, pull it up. I'm going to put something else here, get some kale or, cold weather crop going. Hey, Stuart's prepping.
Hey, Corner Clubhouse. Hey, Stuart's prepping. Hey, One Day at a Time Farmstead.
So I don't know. I have some video that I'm trying to edit for a garden tour.
Yep.
That's where I'm at. I would say I've moved one of my two of my squash. I moved them because where they were at, they weren't even growing. So I'm thinking maybe if I move them over here, they'll do better. Hey, Jewish Redneck Prepper.
Shalom, Jewish Redneck Pepper.
Good to see you all.
Prepper, sorry.
So, I don't know.
I mean, I think that you have a longer season, so that's pretty good. I mean, we're just starting. I've harvested 2 tomatoes so far. And I mean, y'all know I planted mine back in February.
Thanks,
started
Stuart.
them. My King of the North peppers are just getting blossoms on them. That's how ridiculous it's been. So I don't think we're going to get any.
Hey, but there was some peppers you showed that were big. My peppers are looking little bitty.
They were starts that I bought at the local nursery, which I think that I'm going to do from now on.
Hey, Milk and Honey. Thank you for
Hey, Milk and Honey.
Gwen's asking, when did you plant your tomatoes?
I think she was asking you. I planted mine in February.
When did I plant mine? Gosh. So I planted mine later. I was so wore out from everything going on that I'll be honest, it was a lazy thought. I was thinking, Hey, maybe I can plant these. I won't have to transplant them so many times. I totally ended up transplanting everything. It was all I did was put it off, ended up just putting it off. Hey, G Mama Grows.
Hey, G
Um,
Mama.
I want to say April, maybe. I can't remember. And I
Yeah.
didn't take good notes this year either, and I should have. Soon as you can after your last frost date. Yeah, my tomatoes. Now I've got some that have done amazing. My daughter has some that have done amazing, and hers got. She had a bunch of weeds growing, and I think it gave the plant some kind of fungus or something.
Yeah.
And the leaves started getting speckled and yellow,
She cut them
and
off.
she started pulling off the leaves, and then
Mm-hmm.
pretty soon this plant's just looking more and more bare. Hey, Joy, Smoky Mountain Bless, good
Hey,
to see
Joy.
you. And but they still had a bunch of tomatoes, so she pulled all the tomatoes off that were while they were green, and she's got them in her windowsill. She gave me a couple too, but the ones I've got are blushing and they're doing well. The ones that I co-planted with the roses in the big barrels, those I've pulled off quite a few tomatoes. I don't know, maybe 10. I mean,
Oh,
and
wow.
there's still a bunch out there off of
Yep.
mainly 2, maybe 3 plants. I think I put 2 plants in one barrel and 1 plant in the other. And so I pulled a bunch off of those from my big bed where I have the other tomatoes. I've only pulled like 2. Although
Okay.
I'm going to be loaded with tomatillos. The
Oh,
tomatillos
nice.
are totally rocking it out there. So that'll be cool. Hey, Teresa Ellis.
Hey, Teresa Ellis. Yeah,
So,
we have a ton, and we got the earliest blossoms we ever had, and that was in the end of June, and we've had
mm-hmm,
green tomatoes for over a month,
mm-hmm,
waiting for them to blush, and then it got hot, and they started to blush, and then it got cold again. I mean, we were at
yeah,
54 yesterday, and we got
yeah,
another 2.5 inches of rain.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
everybody's kind of chiming in with different challenges. Jamie pulled
yeah,
some early just in case of the storm. I'm glad that the squirrels didn't get everything, Suburban
yeah,
Hillbilly. Thank goodness for that. Oh, and good for you, Teresa.
yeah,
Mhm. Oh, bell peppers are deformed. I got
yeah.
one real skinny, I'm hoping he fattens up, but I need to up plant them. And I feel like I've been saying that for weeks and I haven't done it yet.
The peppers that you saw in my greenhouse, those starts, they
Mhm.
should not have been that long. They should have been short and red like bell peppers. And
Oh,
I don't
really?
care. I mean, I harvested them.
They look like jalapenos.
Yeah, they're not. I have jalapenos, but those aren't it.
Huh.
And I just ordered garlic yesterday, some hardneck
Mhm.
garlic, and I have 3 bulbs from last year, and I dumped all the brooder bedding into
Mhm.
the beds where the onions and stuff was.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm gonna have that shipped to me.
um, tomatillo and ground cherries mixed up. Tomatillos.
I'm sorry, G Mama. I'm so sorry. That's something I would do. I'm so sorry.
It can happen. You
It
never
totally can.
know.
Did you? Well, Rich at the Old Swedes Farm said there was a thing called Peppergate 2023. I didn't hear of it. He said a lot of people are planting peppers that
Mhm.
they thought were pepper A and are
Mhm.
actually some other pepper when they grow. So the seeds got mixed
Really?
up. And it's just so bizarre because I've not had that. And he was talking about, I think, using Livingston seeds and Fairy Morse. I will never use them again. I have not had
Wow.
any luck with them. They don't germinate, and people love them here. I've not had any luck.
Mhm. So, Gwen, did you see what she down there? My daughter's got a beautiful little area of garden beds down there. I say down there because it's at the bottom of the hill. And there is a bird feeder out there. And I know my daughter was talking about filling up the bird feeder with water. And now she does have like a squirrel that's been getting into her garden beds, but not mine. And now you have me thinking, I wonder if they did that for the squirrels to have water to drink, so that they wouldn't go after the tomatoes, because that's what they do. They grab a tomato, take a couple bites, and then they drop it. Like they're not interested in eating the whole thing. That's good. That's really good. So I'll have to
that is
tell
wild. Life in the Piedmontina. I ordered it from Gurney's, but I also have 3 bulbs of garlic that I bought from the local farmer's market that I'm storing in a dark place in my pantry. Because that's what I did last year and they did really well. I'm hoping next year I can take what I've planted in my garden and use it versus the small cloves that I have from this year.
That's awesome, Nana Grace. I haven't harvested any of my peppers yet. I'm waiting for that. I think they're supposed to be bigger. Hey, Joy, thank you.
Yeah, Joy, if you have a squirrel getting into your bird feeders, they have those things that you put over them. I don't know, squirrels get in. Yeah, no worries. One day at a time, Farm said, please be driving safe.
Yeah, thank you. I thought your garden looked beautiful, Lisa. I thought it looked beautiful. I hope that you get more vegetables out of it, because it sounds like, even though to me it looks great, like I'm not seeing tons of weeds. I'm seeing really big, healthy looking vegetables. Well, vegetable plants.
Yeah, they're healthy looking plants, but they're not doing anything. It's just too cold. I mean, that's the problem. I mean, it's like Gwen has got it where her garden is exploded, but you have that one side where it's so hot and things don't produce, or you have the other side. So it's like, if it was cold, like we had that rain, and then we had an explosion over the 2 weeks that it was 85 to 90 degrees, but 54 yesterday, 2.5 inches of rain. That's rotting conditions, so that's the thing. I think we've had like 6 inches of rain this week. So it's that feast or famine, because we haven't had that in years.
Sorry for my dog barking in the background.
No, your dog's not a problem at all. Yeah, and I have a lot of weeds. The thing of it is we have a lot of weeds. We have I was telling Gwen about it, and it's basically like a viney weed that grows so well here. And I keep telling her I'm going to find out what it is so I can eat it, because it grows great here, right? But seriously, it's like it has one little root, but it spreads like a vine, so you can grab a bunch of it. But
hey, Gear Gryden.
Hey, Gear Gryden, how's that watermelon coming along?
I planted 2 watermelon plants and a cantaloupe plant, and I finally have flowers.
Nice.
But I don't know. Isn't it a little late now? I don't know that anything's going to come of them.
I think we should do a thing where if Gear Gryden grows a watermelon, we'll do a 2-hour live.
Oh, that'd be fun. Right?
I don't know if it's vineweed, Suburban Hillbilly. I'll have to get a picture of it, maybe post it. It's not necessarily grass. And so even with the holes in our cheap weed fabric that I bought, because I'm definitely not spending the money on good weed fabric now. Waste of my time. I'm definitely, I pull it right out because it comes right through.
Hey, that's awesome, Jamie.
That's awesome.
I love the firsts that you have the opportunity to have with gardens. You know what?
I love looking through the Baker Creek catalog, and I just sit there and I look at them, and I'm like, I love looking at all that wild stuff, and I don't bother growing it because it's just not going to do well. So like when I Google for my stuff, I Google, best variety for zone 4B. But that's not always the best either.
And how long's the list?
It's not long. And here's the thing: Rich in Minnesota is 4B also, but he's not at my elevation, and he gets a lot of heat. I don't get. So one of the things that they said was Moskvik tomatoes were supposed to be really good,
huh?
And they're the slowest growing ones I have. My black strawberry tomatoes, slow.
Mm-hmm. I have broccoli that's gotten tall, and seriously, the heads are like this.
Yep, mine all bolted.
They look like they're wanting to. I'm hoping they don't, but they're starting to look like they're wanting to.
Hey, Uncle Al.
Hey, Uncle Al.
That's a good point.
Hey, and you know what I did? I finally, so I have canned before. I've only done water bath canning, but it's been years. And all I really water bath canned before, for the most part, was like jams, because I had a neighbor who had a fig tree. So I would make fig jam and then make homemade fig Newtons. And I love doing that. But like, strawberries, I want to say all the usual stuff, nothing fancy. And I never tried to make jalapeno, that
Cowboy candy.
And I finally did, which it's now the first time I've canned here where we live now. Hey, Tuber Chat, good to see you.
Hey, Uncle Al.
And I'm so excited that I finally got the canner out and canned something and like refreshed my memory, even though it's just water bath canning. But I'm ready for the pressure cooker. I just haven't got it yet. Everything around here, it's been like one thing after another. Like, I won't get into it too much. Washer's broke, so it takes all day to do one load of laundry because I have to manually sometimes put it through wash twice, then have it spin. It's just obnoxious. But I mean, just an example, like there's been so many things that have taken priority over spending money on my pressure canner, but we're getting there. I'm getting closer. But yeah. I'm so excited I finally canned something. Sometimes with doing the things, it's just breaking the ice and just doing them and accepting it. Okay, for me, don't overthink it too much. What do you want to achieve or accomplish? And just put your first foot forward and try to do the dang thing. And I did, and I loved it. And I'm loving.
Good for you.
I thought it was so fun. I'm loving the canning, like Jamie just said. I can't wait to can something else. And now I'm going to the store. There's no more. I like largemouth jars, and they're all gone.
Yep.
All the largemouth. And I'm like, what the heck? So they broke all this stuff out. There was an entire aisle of jars in the Walmart nearest to us, full of jars. And I was like, cool, this will keep me going this year. Thinking I had all the time in the world to go buy them, and then poof.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Uncle Al, I had to stop with the sunshade cloth because it wasn't getting enough sun to the garden. We took it down. Yeah, I have an electric one too, and I haven't used it yet. Just because one of my things was I wanted to can my harvest. I didn't want to can other stuff. You know what I mean? So,
hey, Devin, good to see you guys.
And our farmers market, there's one person there. One vendor that has food, the rest all have some other stuff, not necessarily produce. So it's a lot.
So you have an electric pressure canner then?
Yeah, it's right behind me.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, I've had it for a while because I got a deal on it and I bought it.
Oh,
because I figured out why am I going to do all this
growing of food?
Well, big batches. I don't have big batches and stuff. But heck, I haven't even had enough for that.
Did you see my community post?
No.
So I made this cowboy candy, and I was like, do I have enough peppers? Like, I don't know. Like, after you cut them, I'm like, remember I got a deal on them at the farmer's market. It was like the end of the day thing, and they're like, here, you can have these for X amount of dollars. It was cheap, so I took them. And if you look at my community,
I'm looking now.
The jar's all like half full, and then you can see the jar of just the syrup behind it. But hey, man, I canned it.
Good job.
Yes, and I had 3 cans in there. So there's another jar. My husband was like, he was giving me a hard time. He's like, wait, does everybody's canned food look like this? Like, show me some. I'm like, stop. No, they don't. Okay.
Yeah. No, I think, hey, Lisa Clovey. Yeah. I mean, Tina, that's why I bought it, Tina, right? Because my stove is electric and it's got the coils because that's a long story because they're eliminating those when you go to buy them. So I couldn't find a glass top one that was rated for canning. And so we ended up just buying the burners. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
To me, even with the brand new burners, the darn thing will not keep the jiggly thing going for a while. So I'm like, I'm not wasting my time and worrying about it. So that's why I got an electric canner. So one of the things we thought about doing was setting up a gas stove. Like you can get a cheap gas stove and put it outside and do it outside. That's what my neighbor does. He does it outside. Ryan even bought an Amish canner, I think it's called. It's you hook a propane tank to it, and it looks like cool. The turkey fryers.
Yeah, I love that.
So we bought that because that's, to me, the gas is much more effective. But I'm not getting gas here. It's too much to change. But that's the thing that drives me nuts.
See, now that's what happened. The jar. Oh, it tastes so good. Suburban Hillbilly. I know a lot of people have a recipe out there. I followed Simply Jan Homestead's recipe, and because I could call her too and be obnoxious. So I'm texting her, hey, Jan, this, hey, Jan, that. And then I'm asking her questions that she answered in the video. I felt after I'm like, why didn't I hear that the first time around? But anyway, I followed hers, and that I used the syrup and I poured it because I also had a half a jar that I didn't even can. I just put in the fridge and I poured it over some cut up cucumbers, tomatoes, and onions. You know how you do that. Like, oh my gosh, it was so good. Yeah. So I hope that inspires you, Lisa.
Well, I do have a lot of jalapenos.
My half jar.
I do have a lot of jalapenos growing on my plant. Two plants I bought from the nursery. And I have to tell you, they're looking good. So if they come out, I'm definitely making it.
But I thought I saw that you had a bunch of tomatoes too.
I've harvested 2 or 3.
Oh, so I was looking at those beautiful green tomato bushes, but all the flowers, you had flowers.
But they're not we're waiting for them to blush. They're slow to blush.
Okay.
So I think next year, I think what we're going to do is put the 3rd greenhouse that we bought up. I haven't had a chance to do it yet. Plus I've been afraid because of the hail.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens next year. The potatoes are looking good.
I'm hoping you still get tomatoes this year. So at least you can can some tomatoes. And you know what? As far as I'm concerned, 3 jars in there, voila, does the trick.
Yeah.
If you feel like it's not full enough, throw a couple more jars of water in there.
I want tomatoes.
I know. I know.
Water. I got plenty of water. I want tomatoes.
I know it.
I got 1 cucumber.
Oh my gosh. I got to share.
Yeah.
I put it next to, okay. So, I made another batch of soap.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited because that's another thing for me. The not doing the things is because I overthink it.
Yeah.
I spend too much time studying and preparing, and then it's all up in my head. Right.
And then you don't do it.
And then I don't do it for like years. And I'm not kidding. That for anybody, Lisa knows I'm telling the truth. Like I've been studying making soap for probably a decade. It's ridiculous. So remember, I texted you and I'm like, I made another batch of soap, but I was trying to make them look like candy corn. And I had this Mai Tai orange color and it looked pink. Guess what it did? Guess what it did overnight? It turned orange.
Oh my gosh.
Aren't they so cute?
That's adorable. I love it.
Yeah, a couple of things. So I want to start using just essential oils, but I do have a bunch of fragrance oils. So I'm using them. Oh, the light kind of actually.
No, I can see it's orange.
So one thing, it turned orange this morning. I was like, yes, that was going to be pink, yellow, and white. And I'm like, I'm going to have some splaining to do.
It's really
pretty. Turned orange. I thought I was making a fairly straight line and layering them. And, these little things. And then I'm going to show you. And I feel like, so I'm practicing and I'm using, I used the same recipe that I used the first time. Oh, and you know what I did? I measured out my oils. Like I measured out the oils I was using into my Pyrex bowl that I'm mixing them up in. And I measured out another set of oils at the same time and stuck them in an old butter, big old butter thing. I stuck the oils in there so that next time I don't have to measure my oils, and that'll make the whole process go easier. But a couple of things I forgot to do the whole tap, tap, taparoo to get the bubbles out. And you can see kind of sharing some of my whoopsie-daisies. See the little hole?
Yeah, that's all right. Don't worry about it.
And then I don't know what this is. I think it might be called a glycerin river. I'm going to have to read up on that. I remember reading about glycerin rivers, that, or because it was 3 different colors, and I poured one. Another thing, just kind of little faux pas I've ran into that I think are worth sharing. And I'm using these colors.
Oh, wow. Fancy.
My red bar that I did last time, remember? So one thing I hate that when I wash my hands, it's a red lather. I think I might turn into the white soap girl, because white soap with maybe touches of color. Because what's happening is I put it on my, next to the sink, and okay, don't judge. I don't have like a soap holder. I need to get one at this point. But I put it next to the sink, and then there's like the red soap. So like I'm washing my hands, washing the little red soap off because it's obnoxious. I did use bath bomb red was the color, and it's not dyeing anything. So it's not like, permanently staining anything.
Yeah.
that worry crossed my mind.
Yeah.
But so it's like these little things you learn. Oh, and then I'm noticing as I'm washing my hands with it, right? Like on the inside, the red is not consistent going through. Like, okay, here's a good example. You see that? It's just like a little scrape, but you see how it's darker?
Yep.
Well, that was because it could have been also because I was trying to turn once I realized it was pink. I was trying to add yellow to make it orange, which I didn't think I succeeded. So that's kind of a magical thing. But I don't know if you can see.
Yep.
How it's a little bit different. So the color's not consistent throughout. And I'm not mixing it up well enough ahead of time. So I kind of got to work on that. I got to figure out how do I mix that up? And because I've had these colors for years, are they maybe old and they're just not dissolving real quickly?
What are you using for color? Broke Cowgirl wants to know.
Micas. I'm using micas.
I keep mine all white.
That's not a bad idea. Like if you want color, like maybe do a dab of it and mix it in so it's white with a green or blue little swirl or what have you. I want to switch over to just doing clay soaps. And there's a recipe in the book for clay soap that I want to do because I don't know am I buffering? Oh, it looks like I'm buffering. Hold on.
Are the rest of you seeing us buffer? I know Jamie and G Mama said so. I don't know if the rest of you are using it.
Yeah. Yikes. I think it's me. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Some little quirks to work out. But see, that's what I want to do before I'm using like 1.8 ounces of an essential oil that's much more expensive than a fragrance oil.
All right. We're good now. Not buffering at Joy's. So.
Oh, good. Yeah. You know what I mean, though, Lisa? Like when you're making soap, like you want to have some opportunity to learn without it costing so much.
Yep. I 3 for $15. That's pretty cheap. I spent for that pig soap I had on my live that one night. I bought 3. Was it 3 for $21? And I bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to keep to more natural. Like I want to, I have the calendula oil to add to it. I'm going to do some lemon balm oil.
I saw that when you were talking about your lemon balm looks awesome.
Yeah, I want to take it out and I'm going to put that in there. Cindy at Cindy's place asked a friend of hers for me because Cindy grows all those herbs.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put that and I'm going to try and do that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how well the smell will transfer through the oil. You think it will? Or are
Not
you doing
much,
it
I'm
for
sure.
medicinal effects?
Not much. I mean, I just want to keep it natural. I don't want
Yeah.
to.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I thought of is like I'm growing calendula now. It's barely even. There's even no flowers on it, but I would
Mm-hmm.
love to have like put the petals on the top and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they do sell natural fragrance oils, but I read that those do not work well for, so you kind of got to go essential oils. And that means I'm going to be making a bunch of room spray because I want to kind of make some of my own essential oil blends, but you
Yeah,
want to practice them, you know what I mean, and come up
yeah,
with the good blends. And then of course when you put them in with the lye making the soap, they kind of tweak a little bit.
yeah.
Dehydrate the carrot tops for green also.
Yep.
I'm thinking nettle too for green because I have nettle. I have nettle powder and I have some hibiscus powder too, which would probably
Nice.
be pretty. And then the clays. I'll bet you could. Yep, because you could infuse it in the oils for the color.
Yeah, I've never made the melt and pour. I've made cold and hot process, and then found
Yep.
out why it didn't work because of the lye. But
So life in the Piedmont, I have made melt and pour, and I've done a lot of melt and pour, and I would get pretty fancy about it sometimes. See if I can find a picture on my phone because I was pretty proud and I take pictures. Um, and I will tell you that I feel like it really helped the fact that I'd made melt and pour and was just kind of used to dealing with, adding fragrances and your coloring, whether you go essential oils or micas or whatever. I feel like it did prep me for that, and I want to use that stuff. So I'm using the stuff that's not natural, but I do want to do the natural. It's just while I'm learning for my learning curve, I want to use the stuff I already have so that I'm not wasteful and also so that I'm kind of using the stuff that costs less to for my screwed up soaps.
have you made like medicinal soaps like mullein and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I've done like an eczema soap with the calendula. And the lemon balm, when you said that, it kind of had me wondering because lemon balm is also, it has lysine in it, which
Yep.
is a treatment for, cold sores or really any
Yep.
virus, herpes simplex kind of virus. Um, and so it makes me wonder if that soap wouldn't be like medicinally good for people. And then I make a really good face soap that I do with melt and pour and essential oils, and it's green tea infused. And oh my gosh,
Nice.
I feel like my face. I feel like I don't want to sound, crazy or weird or anything, but honestly, I feel like this soap, when I put it on my face, that it has an instant impact on my skin and how good my skin looks. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But just from monkeying around with different stuff. Where's my soap pictures? But yeah, I would say life in the Piedmont, if you want to make a cold process soap and you've already made the melt and pour, yeah, it kind of helped prepare you for it.
Yeah.
Won't be so foreign when you do it. Like it's going to be kind of familiar. And the getting it to go to trace, not hard. If anything, like the one thing that I've been having to be careful of, like I want to mix up my colorant. This is what I'm running into. I want to mix up my colorant well into the soap, and you mix your colorant up with some oil, like a teaspoon of colorant to a tablespoon of oil is what I've been told. And then you add that in, after you've gone to trace. Well, some colorants, well, depending on what recipe you're using, what oils you're using, things can go to trace quickly. So okay, I found a soap. So I did this one.
Oh,
That's one of
nice.
my, and then I did some coffee bars. Aren't
Nice.
those pretty? That's melt and pour. And I use some African soap in there for the coffee. Oh my gosh, I love that bar soap. I want to do a coffee soap this way too. So I'm going to have to get like used to the melt and pour, or excuse me, the cold process, and maybe try to do some of that stuff too. But yeah, super fun.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got my calendula from last year in an oil
Mm-hmm.
in a dark place.
Oh, you add it straight into the trace
Yeah.
and it mixes up well?
Yep.
They had me, so it's like a teaspoon to a tablespoon of oil, mix it up good in there. It's supposed to make it mix better in the trace. So I'm even taking that extra step. But then when I'm mixing, so you know what I did with this that I just remembered that might have contributed to my problem is I forgot to put in the fragrance. So I had them all three split up. And then I think you got to do your colorant and then your fragrance, because the fragrance can make it mix up more, can speed up the trace. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, so maybe that's one of the reasons I had a time. Hey, one day at a time farmstead. Oh, and my friend Jean popped in. Hey, Jean.
Hey, Jean. Yeah, I got to look at that soap book you bought me. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really a good one. Lots of nice step-by-steps in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did I think it's neon soap is the one that I did, because it only has 4 oils. The more oils you have, I mean, it's just kind of more tedious with measuring all the oils up. But I really like the lather that I got from that one.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I have my calendula in olive oil.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and she said, so it depends on the fragrance. So some fragrances are going to speed up trace. I didn't read that they would slow down going to trace, but maybe they do that too. I just haven't experienced that.
Everything that when I've done it, I mean, I've only done it a few times, but when I've done it, they always said add the fragrance once it's into trace.
Yep. Once it's to trace, add the fragrance.
Yep.
I'm kind of thinking, I don't know, like maybe, I guess if you're going to have your big bowl, you got to add the fragrance in there, and then you kind of use the fragrances. Weird that I find it gets to trace faster without, yeah, I don't know. What I read was, and you'll see it in that book, it can speed it up, certain fragrances. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, Good Times Homestead with Jen and Steve.
Hey, Jen. Mm-hmm. After it gets to trace.
Yep.
So that's my other big thing. Hey, we've got remember we were going to do some collaborations.
Yep.
For soap and for sourdough.
Right.
We were talking about doing sourdough in September, but now we're thinking maybe we should do the soap in September and the sourdough in October.
Yeah, that'll work better for me because of right now with all the piglets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
End of September, we should be getting rid of piglets.
Yeah.
Well, and then the ones that are left will be meat, but
yeah, I like that idea.
So I think that
how should we do that? Should we make it an open collaboration for anybody that wants to join us?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Absolutely.
I like that. Do you want us to, so should I plan on having a video out like September 1st? You want to shoot for that?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. And inviting everybody?
Yeah. If you want, we can text later.
Yeah, let's text later and we'll get that worked out.
Hey, Bear Truth. Hey, Blue.
Hey, Blue. Hey, Bear Truth.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, Suburban Hillbilly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. That's cool. As a matter of fact, Suburban Hillbilly, that'd be a good video. Just saying.
Just saying.
Mm-hmm. Just saying.
Just saying.
Mm-hmm. Yet another reason to use your dehydrator and make potato flakes, huh?
Yeah. I got all my onions freeze-dried that I harvested.
Awesome.
and some herbs.
Mm-hmm.
Hoping to get a video out on that. But you know how it is when the hubs plays music all the time.
Uh-huh.
And I'm trying to do a video, so now I got to do a voiceover because you can't get hit with a copyright claim. So seriously, now I'll have to do a voiceover.
Hi, Tina Best.
Hey, Tina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is unique.
You are that interesting suburban hillbilly. You should make videos. I think you have a wealth of knowledge you could pass on.
No kidding.
No kidding. And by the way, my strawberries are surviving. They did get hit with 7, like I said, but they're surviving.
Mm-hmm. I thought your strawberry bed looked awesome.
It does look good.
And you know it should look better next year, right?
Yeah, and we've had to drain it. Oh my gosh.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you do that?
It has a spigot on the bottom.
Oh, that's cool. Nice.
Yeah. I know that feeling.
We have a road, which is such a bummer because we've always lived off dirt roads. And I mean, since I was 25, quite some time. But we live off of a road now, and I'll be out there making a video and I have to listen. Here comes a car. I hate it. Love where I'm at. It's the only thing that I have not been able to get too used to because I'm just too used to not having that. You can imagine off a dirt road for, 25 plus years.
Yep, yeah, well, we've got tons of motorcyclists here, so there's lots of motorcycle noises.
Mm-hmm. I saw you mention that on that video. It is the time, huh?
Oh yeah, I don't mind the farm animal noises.
Yeah, and Suburban Hillbilly, she doesn't do videos. And look at all of the followers that you have.
Drop some shorts.
Right? That would do it. You don't even need to show yourself, or you can just do shorts. Oh my gosh. That's so funny, Gear.
So true. So true, Gear.
Yeah, I have that. Do that. Yep, I have that too, Gwen, but I think that's okay. And little Ladybug, who comes to wherever I am out there, and my husband. She follows my husband everywhere. Even if he goes down to the shop, she'll go in the garage with him. So I'm trying a new recipe for sourdough.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And actually, like when we're off of this, it'll be time for me to put it in the oven. So we'll see how that does.
Good.
It used a pre-fermenting. Have you seen any sourdough recipes that do the pre-fermenting?
Not that they've used that word. No. What's the difference?
So you already have your sourdough and it's already risen, right? And if you're making bread, you use the risen sourdough, not hungry sourdough. So it's already risen. It's not hungry. Though with the pre-fermenting, if it's not at its peak and it does go down a little bit, that's okay. Because I had to take some of that out, and then it had me to mix in, how much did I mix in? 3/4 cup flour, a half a cup of water, and I used a half a cup of my sourdough starter that was already kind of risen, mind you.
Yep.
So then you do that and you let it sit, your mixture in a jar. You let it sit for like 8 to 12 hours. The longer that you let it sit, the more sour your bread's going to be. And then after it sits, then you mix up put it in the bowl. It used honey, salt, and milk in it. Mix it up, and then you add flour to that. You mix it all up, and then you still can let it sit overnight. So you let it rise overnight, and then I punched it down this morning, and then I had to let it sit again, like a second rise, for 2 to 3 hours, and then I take it out and I get it in the pan. A couple of events kneading wise, get it in the pan. And then it has you to let it sit another 2 to 3 hours in the pan. So like 3 different rising scenarios.
That's what I
And
do normally.
and then it's going to go in the oven. Do you do that pre-fermenting?
I don't do the pre-fermenting, but I
Yeah,
do
so
all those
that's,
rises and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah, with three rises, because I think
Yeah.
the one that I've done is only 2 rises. This one is supposed to be big, bouncy, and beautiful. Like it's supposed to be just light and airy. So we'll
Suburban
see.
Hillbilly said she always makes hers like that.
You do? And when you say like that, do you mean with the pre-fermenting?
I guess I'm not understanding the pre-fermenting part. Maybe I'm thick today, but
So it's not like we always, okay, so for I think, okay, so let me change the way I said it. So like you already have your starter that's
right.
pre-fermented technically, right?
Right.
So she's calling it a pre-fermenting because you take your pre-fermented starter and then you take a prescribed amount of it, a prescribed amount of water, and a prescribed amount of flour, right? And you let that ferment, and then you put the whole thing in there.
I got it now. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. And because you're feeding a starter that's not even hungry right now, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
does get real, whoo, poofed right up.
Oh, wow. Gotcha.
Okay, and she does 3 risers. Feed starter in the morning and use. So that's how I usually do it.
Yep.
Feed starter in the morning, use it at night, and then I feel like I've only had to have it rise twice when I did stuff, but most of the time I've made like French bread, and I'm just making sandwich bread. But I guess this recipe is supposed to be good also for like cinnamon rolls or any kind of rolls.
Yeah, I
Hey,
do it.
tiny farm nuggets.
I do it where you mix it and you let it sit, and then
Mm-hmm.
you uh, do the stretch and fold, let it sit, stretch and fold, let it sit, stretch and fold, let it sit, and
Mm-hmm.
then put it in stretch and fold, and then sit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there,
Yeah.
Suburban Hillbilly has a question.
So you're feeding it and letting it rise at the same time. I can see how that would work. I may try it just to see. Yeah, and the thing is, like you use everything.
Huh.
I'm on Pinterest, and it was a Pinterest thing. What is the name of her website? I love Pinterest. I'll show it to you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, which is this is the one. Kate's soft sourdough master recipe. Anybody else out there on Pinterest?
And just to give you a heads up, we got about 6 minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa. We do have a hard stop at 1 today.
5 of.
Okay.
Because you have another appointment.
Mm-hmm. So in that recipe, it had that pre-prescribed amount, and then you use the whole thing. You're not just pulling out like a half a cup or whatever you need, like we usually do. Can't go. Oh, see, now here's what I do, Suburban Hillbilly. I go on Pinterest and you could spend, hours looking at all kinds of recipes and then end up making like salad in a jar or something.
Yeah.
I love the projects. I'm a project person.
It's a dark hole.
It is. It is.
Yeah, I haven't been on it either.
Yeah, I go on there sometimes when I'm just wanting to do a new project. I go and look and see what people do, and then on YouTube, and then I'll go on Pinterest. Anybody have any questions for us? So that's going to be soaping in September, and then sourdough in October.
Bye, Tina. Have a good day.
Thanks for coming, Tina.
Tina's going to be a guest on my live on Friday.
Oh, awesome. Hey, Hunting and Stuff with J&J.
Hey.
Thanks, Jamie.
Bye, Jamie. That's right. Suburban Hillbilly.
Soaptember. Perfect. And I don't know. I think we should open it up to anybody who wants to do any kind of soaping.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sometimes when you open it up like that, like nobody does it. So I think that's, I don't know if you want, we can talk later when we can chat.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's helpful if you at least have a framework of people who are going to join.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Just because.
And I know there's a lot of people in our community that make soap and they don't necessarily share the videos of them making soap because they, maybe do other things. Maybe they capitalize on their cooking.
Yeah. Gwen's in.
Awesome, Gwen.
Yeah, I just think sometimes what happens is you end up having an open collab and people get sidetracked and it doesn't get done. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you pin people down to it, gets done.
They're committed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tina, Pinterest is awesome. I should change my name on Pinterest so people can find me on there because I have tons of stuff.
I haven't been on in years.
I am such a Pinterest nerd. You know me, love the project stuff. I felt like I had a good weekend because I got the jalapenos done.
That's good.
Got the soap made, working on the sourdough. I had a fail. I went to go make yogurt again and I had a fail with it.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm kind of on the fence with what I did wrong because I think one of my jars of milk might have not been good.
Oh.
And I was only going to do I was only using a half a gallon. So that's what I wasted because I think and I had it in a quart-sized jar because I noticed when I poured it in, I saw some clunks. And I don't think that it was fat. I think that it might have been, But
when
then
you smelled it?
Yeah, it didn't smell bad. I don't know. Like maybe I didn't pay close
enough. If it's got clumps like that, I would think it would stink.
Well, I had some other milk that goat's milk, mind you, we're talking goat's milk. I went to put in my coffee today and it curdled in there. And I was like, crap, man, that's bad too. Because I have put it off. But I also overcooked it. I accidentally let it boil. Yeah. And I think that's maybe what happened. So it was a good learn though. I read you can use bad milk, but I'll tell you what happened to me. And I don't know if it was the boiling. It did not, it didn't set. So awesome, Milk and Honey.
That's awesome.
She's going to join us. All right, guys. We are stopping at 12:55 today, just a little bit early, just because of some other stuff that's going on. But thank you all so much for joining us. And next week, the time's going to be different. I'll have the thumbnail up, but I'm going to have to back the time up to 11:30 Central Time, 10:30 Mountain Time.
Yep.
So just a heads up on that. We'll see you all next week. Go do the stuff. I hope you all got motivated today hearing about the things that we've been chatting about. And look forward to seeing y'all next week. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye.